Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your host, Arctic Ghost, and welcome back to another episode of the Arctic Pauper Show. This time we're going to be revisiting Burn because Burn got a few new toys, well, one toy in particular, and I made a few changes to the list that I had a very long time ago. So it hasn't really changed much, but I still suggest Burn to people if they want to get into Pauper. It's a great deck to play. The modern version won me a PPTQ, about 2 months ago, and I've been, kind of refound my love for mono red aggro decks, even though Burn's not really an aggro deck, but you know, either way. So, the main deck is pretty stock. You have your chain lightnings, your lightning bolts, your lava spikes. You got your rift bolts. You got your fire blast. Always want to play four of these because drawing two game is actually never a bad thing, and you really want to see one as quickly as possible because it's your big finisher. Uh, Curse of the Pure Start's a card that a lot of people sometimes, don't play four of. Um, I usually see four, but I remember a time when four was thought to be, I guess, taboo. But this card is just so good because it's reoccurring damage. And, having one of them out is not a big deal. Having two of them out is actually a big deal because you're shocking the player every turn. And, it's just a great card, really. Uh, Reoccurring damage is always a good thing in Burn because it actually puts your opponent on a clock, and it actually, when you're taking your opponent from odd numbers to even numbers, it makes it easier, when you're trying to bolt them out. Uh, as far as the three ofs go, you have three Needle Drop. Needle Drop's not great, but it's kind of like playing a 57 card deck, and it gets even better with Curse of the Pure Star. It gets even better with a creature that I'll get to in a moment. And you have three Searing Blaze. A lot of people play four. I like three because you don't have fetch lands. If I had fetch lands, if this was modern, I'd probably be playing four. But I like three Searing Blaze for now. I've been pretty happy with three Searing Blaze. I usually side them out a lot, so take that for what you will. Then you have Keldon Marauders. This little guy is 2 mana for 3 to 5 damage. It's basically what he. I'm sorry, for 2 to 5 damage. It's basically he's just really good. He's either a big blocker, or he's 2 damage, or he eats a removal spell and he's 2 damage, or he just attacks for 5 in total because you're taking two and then you're taking 3 from him. So I think he's a mainstay. And then on to the new things. So replacing what Goblin Fireslinger, I think is the name of the card. I can't remember after all this time. Is Thermo Alchemist. At 2 mana, Thermo Alchemist might not seem great, but the fact that you untap him for basically any spell that you play that isn't a Keldon Marauders or a Curse of the Pure Start, just makes him so insane. Because you can go basically, turn one, suspend Rift Bolt, put your opponent to 17. Turn two, you go Thermo Alchemist. Turn three, you can literally hit them for 12 and kill them with Fire Blast. I think. So let's say you have two mountains. Let's say you have two mountains, a Thermal Alchemist, a Rift Bolt, a Fire Blast, these two bolts, and then you just draw a couple more bolts. You could actually effectively kill them turn three. Also, Thermal Alchemist combos with Needle Drop quite well, as you saw in my Affinity videos, because now Needle Drop becomes basically 2 damage, draw a card, and you get to untap this guy. So, it's pretty insane. Thermal Alchemist is pretty insane. I think it's a great pop card. I can't wait to test it in some control decks, and I look forward to that. And then you have Flame Rift. Now, when I first when I made my first few videos way back, I think in the summer of this year, maybe a little bit before, Burn was a lot more popular than it was now. So I didn't quite want to play Flame Rift, also because Flame Rift was kind of expensive. But I acquired them, and I think they're actually really helpful because a lot of people are packing cards like Dispel these days. A lot of people are not playing around the fact that you have multiple spells that do 4 damage. Um, so I happen to think it's actually just a great card. In the sideboard, I made a few changes. So you have Incinerates, basically for the mirror, where you want to side out like the Flame Rifts. Uh, You can keep in a Flame Rift in case you want to draw the game or in case you're the one that's, I guess, winning. I just don't have enough sideboard spots to. Oh, whoop. I actually have 14 cards. Wow, that was an oversight. Hold on a second. Well, that was a dumb moment, but at least you guys will find it funny, I hope. Yeah, I'm pathetic. Anyway, so you have 4 Incinerate in the sideboard, basically for the mirror to sideboard out the 4 Flamer because you don't want to be dealing yourself damage. You have 2 Flaring Pain against Cop Red, Prismatic Strands, anything like that of the sort. You have Martyr of Ashes as your basic Wrath of God against tokens, Stompy, Affinity, Boggles, if you get the chance, pretty much anything. And then, of course, you have the Mox Monkey, also known as Gorilla Shaman. So usually I used to have 4 Smash Smithereens, but I think that Incinerate, you need 4 of them because you need to take out Flame Rift. I don't think you'll need Smash Smithereens against decks like Tron to destroy their Prophetic Prism to slow them down and things like that because you have Flame Rift now, so you get to actually go a little bit faster. And also, Affinity can be a good matchup or a bad matchup depending on what kind of sideboard cards they have. So Gorilla Shaman is just a great card. It's also not bad against Kuldotha Boros because they play so many artifact lands. But you might as well just get that free win against Affinity, and allows me to go back up to 4 Incinerate instead of having 4 Smash Smithereens and 3 Incinerate. And then on to the Pyroblast for basically, in my opinion, Peregrine Drake hate. So you could have Fairy Macabre, you could have Relic of Progenitus, but I kind of like having Pyroblast in case maybe you face Delver, where Needle Drops are not great. And Incinerates are not great, so you can bring a Pyroblast to force through your Flame Rifts or your Fire Blasts, or to, do whatever. It's good against Peregrine Drake, the card, of course. It's just. I think it's just all around a better versatile card than just having some graveyard hate. Especially because the Blue-Red Drake deck doesn't need to combo off to beat you. So in this deck, Fairy Macabre is not really where you want to be. Relic of Progenitus I think would be better because you draw a card. But I think I'm going to try out Pyroblast instead. Maybe I'll go back to Relic, I'm not sure. I don't think there's a lot of graveyard decks in the format. If there were a lot of graveyard type decks that were playing Gnaw to the Bone, that'd be a much different story. But since there isn't, I'm going to stick with Pyroblast. So, that's the deck. There's not really much to it. And I will see you back for match number 1. Please stay tuned, and thank you for watching.